Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Coffee with Jess. I hope that you guys are having a great morning. Great start of your week. We've got some coffee here. It is hot, it is steamy, it is tasting pretty dreamy. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's enough cheese for this morning. That's probably all I can take, to be completely honest. So it is fall, and we are going to talk a little bit about creating fall routines and self-care and all of that good stuff. Fall, I have to say, it's definitely one of my favorite times of year in regards to self-care, because everything just gets so cozy. It really does. It is it's just one of those times where I just want to put on, those fuzzy awesome socks and snuggle into flannel PJs, and of course naturally get a few things done. But definitely hibernation is on my mind. I'm just going to put that out there. Sometimes I wish I was a bear. I wish I could hibernate and just, snuggle into something nice and cozy and come out in spring. But then, of course, there would be the whole missing of Christmas. Nothing's a perfect analogy or a perfect plan, I guess. So, fall tends to be one of those times, we talked about this before, for creating new plans. We were talking about SMART goals and all of those things in the last podcast. And when we have our SMART goals and all that stuff, sometimes we do want to make new routines. The other week, I kind of had this idea where I was like, I'm gonna do a complete overhaul of my routines. I'm gonna be so structured. You've never seen anybody so structured before. And there was this app that I got, and it had like these reminders and everything, and it even had these really cute emojis and stuff that went along with the different habits that you were going to be tracking and stuff. Anyway, I don't know about you guys, but I get really enthusiastic, and then I go a little bit nuts, and then I go, too much. So, I don't know what part of me thought that it was going to be a good idea to set up 6 or 8 things that I was supposed to achieve, at 6 a.m. in the morning. But it did not go so good. And I think I ended up deleting the app, and I was like, I was a bit miffed, to be completely honest. But we don't always want to be reminded of all the stuff that we're doing wrong. So, sometimes it's good to start with one step at a time. It is great to sort of overhaul and embrace a new life and all this change and all that good stuff. But we also have to, bring it back to that R in SMART and be a little bit realistic. So we go through these different phases in life where we're trying to do new things, right? So it's also really frustrating and really discouraging when they don't work out, and a lot of times they don't. Let's just call it what it is. But it's important to keep trying. So looking back at what I was doing that was not working, and the reason that it just did not come together, and I think is one of the most important things that we can do when we do fail, when something doesn't work out, to look back at it and sort of do a review of, okay, which parts worked, which parts were a great idea, which ones should we just totally cut out. And I know why it didn't work, and that is the key, which is I tried to do it at 6 a.m. in the morning, for crying out loud, Jessie. Oh my God. I'm not a morning person. I never have been. And chances are until, a blue moon, when I'm not a night person, because that's when I like to do things. I don't go to bed super early. I just don't. And because of that, I'm just not a morning person. So that's just how it is. So when it comes to creating your new routines, we're going to take a little bit of a look at why things go how they do and how we can structure that. So I'm looking back at why things didn't work out for me this last time. And it's because I tried to do all these gajillion things in the morning, like at 6 a.m., where, if I'm awake at 6 a.m., that's an achievement in itself. Me rolling out of bed and not biting everybody's head off. Okay, I'm not that bad, but it is a good achievement. So possibly working out and taking the dog out and getting everything done in the morning, that's not going to happen. But I do know that I am very productive in the evenings. So How can we use the things that we do know work for us? What time of day is most optimal for you to get your things done? For me, I've realized that prepping is really, really important for me. To be able to get all the things done that I need to get done in the morning. And I mean, some things, some things we can't do. Coffee sip, just a sec. Some things have to be done when they need to be done. Like, I can't ask the dog to go out and pee the night before, and the kids need to eat breakfast when they need to eat breakfast. But I'm saying that the things that you can prepare for the things that need to happen when they need to happen are really good to get done when you are at your most productive. So I know for a fact that for me, I'm the most productive in the evenings, and it's around when it's time for the kids to go to bed. So what I do and what really works in regards to getting our family routine rolling and getting everything sort of sorted out is preparing as much as possible the night before. For me, that includes burrito rolls. And I know that sounds really, really weird, but it's not actual burrito rolls. What we do is we have the kids pick out what they're going to wear the next day and roll it up into what we call a burrito roll. We called it that because the kids just thought it was more fun when they were little. It sort of got them engaged and got them thinking it was fun. So the kids pick out their clothes, they roll up their burrito rolls, and we put them somewhere where they are visible and easy accessible in the morning. And then deciding also, what are you having for breakfast tomorrow morning? Asking that is one of those things where you can take away choices. And I mean, usually choices are an amazing thing. We love to have choices. But in the morning, when things kind of need to be automated a little bit, having to choose, like seriously, for me, deciding what I'm going to wear, that takes a ton of time, especially if it's in the morning. For some reason, it goes faster when I'm not under a time crunch, but that's just how it is. So sort of deciding in the evening before what you're going to be wearing and what you're going to be having for breakfast, taking away those choices, planning your meals can be a really, really helpful thing. Also, if you know that there's something that you need to bring to work or the homework or for kids for school and stuff like that, packing your bags and putting them by the door the night before so that you know that you're not going to forget something is also another one of those things where you can just get dressed, get your stuff done, grab your bag and go, which is nice. So another thing that I thought we would talk a little bit about is meal prepping. And I'm kind of going, ooh, because I really like meal prepping. I think it's fun. I think it's really fun. For me, I really like cooking, but I'm not a super, super fan of cleaning up the stuff I do in the kitchen. It's just, I mean, seriously, it's fun to be creative and be like, dashing around the kitchen pretending that I'm Rachel Ray or Jamie Oliver, or something. I don't know. But the cleanup, I hate it. It's no fun at all. So for me, I'm like, okay, how can I minimize this? And the way that I do that is I meal prep. I love meal prepping. So it is good for several different reasons. I don't know how familiar you guys are with meal prep, but if you search it on YouTube, there's a bunch of videos about how you can meal prep and all that stuff. So basically the idea behind meal prepping is that you prepare your lunches and or dinners. Maybe you just choose to do your lunches, or maybe you do lunches and dinner. It's completely up to you, whatever you want to do. Some people also throw in their snacks as well. And that you prepare them in advance for several days. So I usually go with like 4 to 5 days because, you want things to feel fresh and not like super old. But what I do is I have a bunch of glass containers, which I really like, lunch containers. And I prepare like maybe 2 different sources of carbs and 2 different sources of protein. So, for example, this week it was quinoa and rice, as well as salmon and chicken. So what I do is I make a big batch of rice, I make a big batch of quinoa, and then I also do a bunch of stir-fry vegetables because, that's also good. I usually, like 1 bag of like wok veggies or something like that. And then prepared the salmon in the oven and the chicken as well in the oven. But what I do is I separate, like I do half of the pan with like curry or something like that, and the other half with rosemary and sage and stuff like that. So you sort of get two different flavors. And then kind of mix and match those in the lunch boxes so that for the coming week, so that all that you really have to do when it's time for lunch is grab your thing and go. Right now, we haven't really had to portion everything out because we're working from home, and that makes things easier. But it is really nice to make a big batch, because when you do that, you're both planning ahead to the point where you're not making choices when you're super, super hungry and prone to cookies. Let's just be honest here. If there's cookies, they will be eaten. Oh my gosh. It's dangerous for me. I can't have cookies around the house, and yet we have lately. And I know it's not good, but I love them. I love them. But it's great to have healthy options around, so that being healthy is the lazy, easy way. See, that's kind of the thing. Trick yourself into thinking that you're being lazy when really you're being smart and super, healthy and stuff, I guess. But it's a great way to both. Meal prepping is a great way to save money and to save time and to stay healthy, because let's face it, for me, I do my meal prepping on Sunday afternoons. So if I spend like an hour or two in the kitchen on Sunday, that is one time I do dishes. Bum, bum, bum. It is definitely minimizing the, dish time and cleanup time in the kitchen, because, you're doing it once instead of 5 times, basically. So it is a very, very good thing to do. Anyway, so that's sort of how I like to put up my routines. I try to prep in the PMs instead of the AMs, because I know that I am not at my top game in the early mornings, and trying to prepare things for the week and plan things out for the week on like Sunday or something like that. So that is really, really important. So breakfast choices, burrito rolls, set the table for breakfast can be another good one, and pack and prepare bags for tomorrow, also super good. And a fast, easy, healthy, and cheap way to do your lunches is to meal prep as well, because that can be really, really good. So with all of that planning and all of those things that need to get done, because stuff does need to get done, it really does, it's also really important to take some time for self-care, because if we don't, we are going to end up burnt out. And that's never fun. And it's not fun to come to those situations. I don't know if I'm just assuming here, but for me personally, I have a few wake up moments once in a while when I just go, I'm stuck in the hamster wheel. Things are just sort of rolling by. I'm not thinking, I'm just doing. And, there's a reason we're human beings. We're not human doings. And that's because we need to take some time to just sort of breathe, to enjoy existence and not just push forward all the time. So what I was going to say is we need to take some time daily, not just weekly, not just monthly. I'm talking daily for self-care. I love going out to the movies with my girlfriends. I love going on date nights. I love going out to dinner and all of that awesome stuff. I love getting mani-pedis and I love getting a massage. But it's not something that you do every day. It's something that you do maybe once a month. I don't know. It depends on what your life situation is at the time. Sometimes we have, phases in our life where we have time for more of that. And sometimes we have time for less. Sometimes we have time for none of that. Let's be honest here. But it's important to take time for self-care every day. And that doesn't need to be, going to the movies or doing something that costs a bunch of money. It's the little things. The reason that we need to do this daily is because there's stuff that needs to get done daily. Obviously, we are constantly putting out effort and time and energy into all these things that need to get done. But if we don't fill our tanks with awesomeness, if we don't fill our tanks with energy and with goodness, then we're not going to have anything to give back. So it's really like one of those situations, on the airplanes where they, go through the security video and they say, oh, and make sure that before you, help anybody else, you fasten your own mask first with oxygen. So that's basically what self-care is. Self-care is filling yourself with oxygen so that you can handle everything that's coming. It's prepping. We were talking about how it's important to prep other stuff. It's important to prep you as well. Because we are super, super important in regards to getting all those things done, helping our family, and everything that needs to be done, you need to have the energy to do it. So what can we do? If you don't have time to go get a massage, you don't have time to do a mani-pedi or whatever, for the first thing, I generally try to do, I love going out to do all those things. Well, obviously a massage is harder to do yourself. Not impossible, but harder and not as enjoyable. Coffee break. But there are things that you can do yourself. Like, for example, mani-pedi is taking time to do like a home facial, things like that. But something that I really like doing is making sure that I look at the little things, because not everything has to cost money just to fill your tank, if I should put it that way. So something that I really like is taking one thing a day at least, and for me, I'm doing self-care September. So I do, like, today self-care looked like lighting a candle and drinking a nice cup of tea. Or today, self-care looked like, what could it be? It could be taking the scenic route to work and enjoying the countryside and stuff, like something like that. Or today, self-care looked like putting on an amazing album while I was doing this or that. Or today, self-care was reading a book or going for a walk in the forest. It could be pretty much anything, like literally anything that fills you up with feelings of awesome goodness. I mean, it could be, to some people, self-care might be knitting for an hour. To other people, self-care might be, going jogging for an hour. It totally depends on who you are as a person, what you define as self-care. So that is basically what I'm going to say today. Is make sure that you prepare not only the tasks that you need to get done, but make sure to prepare yourself and to be taking care of yourself, because it is the only you that you have, and you're the only you that we have. So make sure to cherish that, because it's really, really key in life. And don't go for Stepford perfect, because that's not achievable, and it's not what's meant to be. Just go for what makes you happy, what makes you feel good. And remember that when it comes to routines and self-care and all of that stuff, you are not built for your routines. Your routines are built for you. So make sure that it's not a guilt trip. It's not I hate this app for giving me 1,000 notices saying that I did not get everything done by 6:35 in the morning. It's one of those things where you customize this to fit your life, because that's what's important. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you back here for the next blog. Well, not blog, pod, and I'll see you at jessiefrancis.com for other blog posts as well. Catch you later. Bye-bye.